What's going on to all my intellectual savages out there? I'm Marcus and you're at the channel of the Debt Free Dad. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about what the 529 plan is, some of the details and how it works, and my approach for saving for, hey, my kids' higher education costs. And I'll reveal where we are in saving for their higher education costs. Of course, want to use the real numbers and just go ahead and put everything out there. Hey, as always, if you're interested in learning about finance and following my debt-free journey, I definitely invite you to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit the bell below so that you can get notified of new content and help this video reach more people. Now, before we get into it, appreciate all y'all who leave comments and watch the videos. Hey, I'm really grateful, and I appreciate all the feedback about my shirts. Those of you who've been following this channel for a while, y'all know the significance of this shirt, but this shirt does have a special meaning to me. And so if you aren't familiar with the story, I'll put a link above so you can check out that video and that story, just so you can know, hey, why I'm so excited, proud, and happy to be here wearing this shirt and talking to y'all, all my intellectual savages out there. Also, hey, a church announcement. I am going to do a 1,000 subscriber giveaway if I ever get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm not sure how I'm going to do the contest just yet, but so far I got my mind wrapped around some of the prizes I want to get out. I got some interesting stuff kind of bubbling on the merch side of the game. So hey, once those trademarks come through, because hey, I love y'all, but people been known to bite. Once that stuff comes through, I definitely show some of the merch and do that giveaway so I can give some of that stuff out for y'all supporting me, because I greatly appreciate it. And last thing, before we jump into the 529 plan, when y'all doing the business, y'all should do y'all business right. I don't know if y'all noticed, but sometimes I say, hey, you're at the channel of the official debt-free dad, because there's a bunch of debt-free dads out there. And I wanted to make sure that my stuff was covered. Hey, patent, trademark pending. Don't try to bite it. But I wanted to make sure my stuff was covered. So when you hear me say official debt-free dad, y'all know that, hey, that's me. So people will try to bite your stuff. So if you out there building a brand, do it the right way. Put a trademark, a patent, whatever it is. Make sure you protect your interest in the brand that you're building. I'll tell you a funny story real quick before we jump into 529s. On YouTube, a guy watching YouTube, he had actually built this brand up and started this saying, and he got into a war of words with somebody in the comments, right? So they kept telling him months ago, like, hey dude, you need to trademark your name. You need to trademark your name. This dude put it on shirts and cups and everything, and he got into a back and forth with somebody who subscribed to his channel, who was leaving comments. And you know what that dude did? That dude went out and trademarked his name before this guy had a chance to do it. Then opened a YouTube account with the actual trademark application. So it's terrible, it's jacked up, it's funny, but the moral of that story is protect your brand. Make sure you do everything the legit way. You don't want to build up this big brand and somebody bite it. So let's dive right in and talk about, hey, what's the 529, what my philosophy is related to children and educational expenses, and then talk a little bit about how the saving for my child's college education, my children and their college education is going. Let's dive right in. So we're going to talk a little bit about the 529 plan. We're going to talk a little bit about what is it first. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about my philosophy on paying for your kids or helping your kids with their higher education. Of course, this philosophy has changed over the years, but I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. So the first thing about a 529 plan, essentially all it is a vehicle that you can use to save money for a qualifying beneficiary. And essentially how it works, a lot of states have 529 plans. You can get them through financial institutions as well. But how it works is you make contributions into the 529 plan, and that money grows tax-free if the funds are used to pay for a qualified educational expense. So tuition, room and board, books, there's a lot of things that qualify. Even recently, you can actually use up to $10,000 in tuition expenses for private, public, or religious elementary schools and secondary schools per year per beneficiary. So it allows for a lot of flexibility and tax-free growth so long as it's used on a qualified educational benefit. One of the other advantages this has is that right now 30 states do offer tax breaks for contributions to a 529 plan. So if you're fortunate enough to live in one of those states, they'll offer you a tax benefit for all the money that you contribute to your 529 plan for your qualifying individual within the household. The other thing that's great about it is that the person who contributes to it, who opens it, they stay in control of the funds. So, hey, if you contribute to the 529 plan, your child decides they don't want to go to school, or they're a knucklehead and you're like, I'm not wasting that money, I could put it to better use, you can actually use that money for whatever you want. Now, you will have to pay taxes on the gains, because if you use it for anything that's not a qualified educational expense, of course you have to pay capital gains tax, but it does allow you some control. The other thing is that it's actually low maintenance. There are very few fees associated with it, and a 529 essentially works how most employer 401k works. You contribute to the account, but then it's up to you to go into the account and decide which investment funds do you want to put your money into. It may be a growth fund, it may be a moderate growth fund, an aggressive growth fund, but it's actually up to you. So if you open a 529 account and you just put money in and never go online and allocate that money to go into different funds that invest in different things that yield different returns, you're probably going to be doing yourself a big disservice. The other thing with a 529 plan, it does allow for great flexibility. I can have a 529 plan set up for child A. Child A doesn't want to go to school and wants to do something else. I can effectively switch the beneficiary to child B. Now that we got the gist of what the 529 plan is and how it works, I'm going to talk a little bit about my philosophy on how parents should help their kids with college. I will tell you that this philosophy has evolved substantially over time. Initially, my view was, you know what? I went to the Army and bust some heads to get assistance with school and had to sign a few loans. So, hey, if y'all want to go to school, y'all need to do what y'all need to do because it's your benefit, not mine. That was my initial approach, but that was my approach when I was young and in my 20s and, back in the good old days before I had this gray patch. Now, I'll tell you my view is that I do believe if the parent has the means to actually save for their children's education, that they should. So that's what we're doing. And I guess the big reason behind that is because I want to afford my children some of the freedoms that I never had. I mean, I'm blessed. Hey, I enjoy the type of work that I do, but hey, I was saddled, or I'm currently saddled with student loans. Now, am I paying the loans off? Can I pay the loans off? Yeah, I'm working towards that, but I want to give them the freedom and flexibility to pursue what they want to pursue without having that obligation of having to go work to satisfy some loan that they signed up for just to get an education. So really how we're approaching it is, hey, we're going to save this pot of money for our kids to go to school. If they use it during undergraduate, it's great. If they get full scholarships, they don't have to use that money for undergraduate. They can use that money to pursue a master's or some graduate degree or a law degree if they want to follow in good old dad's footsteps. If they don't want to go to school or they want to go to trade school, that money is there to support that effort. If they don't want to go to school at all or they get a free ride all the way through, then those monies will use that money and they'll still probably get that money, but it'll probably be in a different investment vehicle and it'll probably be money that they have access to once they get their family. I think that'll be a great gift if they don't use all their school money for school at the time when my son gets married and wants to have a family. If I can give him a lump sum of money so it can help him get a house, or if he wants to start a business or invest in real estate or whatever it is. But I think that's kind of where my mindset at now. We're saving up the money for you to go to school. You can use the money to go to school or pursue higher education or trade. If you don't use it to pursue any of those things, as long as you're not a knucklehead and getting on my damn nerves, hey, that money will be there as you mature into adulthood to help you get your family started. And that works for my son, that works for my daughter as well. That's kind of the approach that we're going to take. And it's interesting because, I guess I'll tell you how my father told me. My father always says, and he said he's not joking when he said he 100% keeping it 100, if being honest. He was like, hey, when I leave this earth, all I'm gonna leave y'all is alone. He's like, I'm gonna do what it says in the Bible, leave everything to your children's children. And I think that, him saying that, whether he joking, but he mean it. I mean, it is all cool because I think that's a good approach. But that really does make sense because, I'm a big numbers data guy. And so I actually did the math and thought about like, if I had a grandchild or I had a newborn, how much money would I need to invest at the time that child is born to make them a millionaire by the age of 65? When you hear the numbers, you're going to be like, what in the heezy? A little over $1,500. If you invest a little over $1,500 at the time that a child is born into an investment account that yields an annual return of 7.9%, that child will have $1 million by the age of them turning 65. So, do my kids get that $1,500? Nah, that's just for my children's children. So, when the grandkids come, I'm gonna invest that one lump of money for them, let that money grow, and it'll either be there for college, or if their parents take care of a business and they get scholarships and their parents take care of college, that'll be my retirement gift to them that they won't know anything about. But at the end of the day, the 529 plan is a great vehicle that allows you to use tax-free gains to help support your child's education. So if you can contribute to it, definitely do. I'll tell you, we started a little bit late, so I'll go ahead and disclose the numbers. Now, my daughter, she's straight because she's only in 4th grade. She got about $8,000. We only do $100 a month, but we started so early with her because we were in a little bit better position. She gonna be straight by the time she decides wherever she wants to go to school. And if she don't want to go to school, I'm gonna use it to buy a new motorcycle. Now, my son, on the other hand, hey, the first child, you got to come up through all these bumps and bruises because mom and dad wasn't always as squared away as they are when the second child came along. So my son, right now, he's at about $10,000. We contribute about $5,500 a year. So what we're looking at, if we calculate in the anticipated growth of the fund, we're looking at having anywhere between $35,000 to $40,000 for his higher education purpose. But that's kind of where we are right now with our 529 plan. I probably won't do any updates on this. I may do an update once a year just talking about the 529 plan, especially my son's, because he's about 4 years out from that time where he got to make a decision to go to school or join the workforce. And I don't care what he do, but he getting out of here. It's like, nah, I'm not one of those parents. Like my mother, she would put I would wake up, I'd be like, what in the world? Army brochures under my pillow. So that's where it's at. That's 529 plans. Again, if you are in a position to contribute to your child's education, that's great. If you aren't in a position, sometimes or a lot of times there's a lot more to contribute to a child's education than finances. Trust me, I understand. I was in that position, but I always had my parents' support. I always had mom, dad, broski. I had everybody who always looked out for me, whether it was advice, whether it was guidance. You can always provide a lot more support than financial support. So if your money allows you to save for your child's college, that's a great avenue to take. If it doesn't, they still going to know that you have their back, so don't even worry about it. Y'all take care. I'm trying to work on this lighting thing. I'm getting like a glare on my glasses at some angles, and then the reflecting coming off the board on the back, but I'll figure it out. In any event, y'all take care. Right now should be a couple videos popping up. go ahead and click on those videos, and definitely hit this link right here in the middle so you can subscribe to the channel. Y'all take care. Peace.